step forward.
And you know, my boy Barry, you know, he hit me up. He asked me for the Lambo. And I was like, nigga, Barry, you know, I got you. Anything for my boy Obama. You know, I got you, bro. And yeah, man, that was my experience with the Obamas, man. The dude is dope, dude. I love Obama.
Barry?
Barry, that's my nigga Barry, yeah. Bro.
I would believe you knew Barry Allen before you called Barack Obama Barry. I'm just saying.
Hey, bro, when you're a real one, they fuck with you like that. That's how it goes. Anyway, we're live. Welcome to the Internet Podcast. We appreciate you guys for coming back in for part 2 of our top 10 MCU movie list. We had a lot of fun last week. Get into it. We had a lot of conversations regarding our bottom 5. I think I got into my bottom 6 actually. So we're gonna finish it up today, and this probably be the more controversial one because it's the top 5 that everyone's gonna have issue with. Probably that's what I'm guessing.
Deb, is the game playing yet?
It is not playing. I was gonna play it in a second.
Oh, okay.
The game we are playing today is Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. We're continuing the gameplay for it. It's another game that was really big and important to me, so I wanted to continue it.
All is in order.
We got Craig here. Craig's on time for once. My nigga Craig, what's up, boy?
Craig is always here.
Time.
Oh, we may have to lower the volume some on the game. The game is
No,
not you.
It's loud to us, but on the recording, it's not that loud. Like I looked at it last week.
Heroes have detected your magic and suspect something is
It's just as hard for me to hear you. That's the thing. It's hard for me to hear you guys. That's why.
Oh, God. There we go. That better?
There we go.
Okay. Get into it. I started first last time, so I'm gonna let I got to like my top 6. So we'll let Ethan start with his number 6?
No, number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah.
I'm tweaking.
No worries. Okay, so my number 5 is now here's the thing. So are we factoring in Doctor Strange 2? Because I made this list before Doctor Strange 2 came out, and I'm just gonna leave my list without Doctor Strange 2. I'm just gonna leave it that way. I think y'all gonna put him in there. That's fine, but I'm not gonna change it around.
If you need more time to mull it over and think about the movie, that's fine. I already know.
I already know what my list is. This is my list before Doctor Strange 2, so I'm leaving it as is without Doctor Strange 2. So for me, number 5 is Avengers Endgame. I'm not sure where it is on y'all's list, but I put it at number 5 of mine.
That previous to this weekend, that was also my number 5, but now it's number 6.
Okay, so we can talk about it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's my number from a 4 as well. Yeah, I think it's my number 4.
My number 4. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know people have different feelings about this movie for different reasons and so forth and so on. What I liked about this was that you got to understand how overwhelmingly hard it is to bring so many different elements together to make it any kind of a cohesive film. If you want evidence of this, watch almost any other movie or watch almost any other TV series or finale. This was a finale for like 20 movies over 10 years, and it was long, but it was still coherent. And it was as a writer, and Otis knows this from working with me on his book. We finished those 7 books. How hard it is to try to have all these different elements and spinning plates, and come to a product that is satisfying in any regard. And they managed to do that. It's not perfect, but it still hits a lot. It checks a lot of boxes. And that end battle that lasts like about half an hour, whoo, buddy! I mean, people would sneak in the theaters just to watch that last half hour over and over again. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. People shed tears. People were happy about it, and of course, the part with Iron Man snapping his fingers and saying, "I am Iron Man." That set up from over a decade ago. It all worked. So yeah.
Right. I enjoyed it too. I don't know if there's any other movie that's had me like literally speechless when I left the theater. Like I remember getting my homegirl picked me up and she asked me how the movie was, and I literally could not formulate words about how much, because it was again, like you said, it was a culmination of almost a decade, more than a decade of like movies that I grew up with. So it felt like part of my childhood and like my life was put behind me. So I couldn't develop words for it.
Yeah.
So I was like speechless. I'm like, damn, that was a good movie for me. And I think they landed the landing pretty well.
Yeah, and it was a send off for so many characters too.
What about you, Otis? How was your thoughts on the movie?
So I mean, me and you have talked about my feelings about this particular movie. It is not the ending that I wanted, but I guess it's the ending that the MCU needed. there were a lot of like, put it this way, like I've seen the last 30 minutes of that movie more than I've seen any other piece of Marvel property, period. Like I wasn't the person that was sneaking back in, but like after I got on Disney Plus, like Felicia will tell you, I was like, oh, time to go to sleep, time to turn the last 30 minutes of Endgame. I mean, the first 2 hours of that was a little bit disappointing to me, just because, like, I mean, it was a lot more calm than I wanted, right? Like, you know, you got Infinity War, and that was like start to finish, like painstaking. Oh my God, so much is happening, and then this one starts off a little bit more calm, and like, you know, you end up working up to that last, you know, 30 minutes, and you get a nice tour of the MCU to that point with all the, you know, time travel and stuff like that. So like, it was nice, but it's not the ending that I wanted. So that's why it ends up in my sixth spot now, but not a fifth spot. Previously.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what it is too is if you look at it, the two movies as, because I think it was almost meant to be like one big movie in a way, one big 6-hour movie. If you gotta have some pacing. If both movies are just nonstop action, nonstop rides, like it's exhausting. You got to kind of keep some of the pace.
That's okay. Like, just go ahead. Like, I will never understand what made them choose to kill off the Thanos that they knew, like 5 minutes into the movie, and then not have another fight scene for 2 hours. Like, I would not call that pacing. I would call that what the fuck are you doing, right? But hey, glad you enjoyed it.
No, I think the reason I think part of it, and yeah, fair enough, it may have been the pacing was slow, but I think what it was to show, like, it was to really make you feel the loss, as opposed to the Avengers. Up until this point in the MCU, the heroes pretty much always win. If it happened where it's like, oh, the snap only killed people off for a weekend, there's no real, you don't feel the actual weight or the actual pain of loss. But if it's like, yeah, the guy who actually did this is gone now, and it seems like there's no hope for this happening until it reverses for 5 years. You want that 5 years to feel like a long time. I get that. Yeah, it does make the pace seem slow, but I understand why they did what they did.
I would have did it completely different. I would have had them show up to Thanos again, them lose to Thanos, just come in and get smacked around.
But that already happened.
Build up their fight forces for another 5 years, and then they come beat them. I would respect that more.
if they have them lose to him again, it's like, did we just see this at the end of the last movie again?
Right. I mean, that was their best movie. Like that's my number one. We'll get to that eventually. But yeah. Do more of what's your best thing. I would not say no to that personally.
Yeah, I guess you gotta change things up too. I don't always want to see the same, which we talked about before. It's like you want to see the same thing over and over again in movies and the MCU formula. So.
Plus, remember, I feel like again, they as much as they pander to like MCU comic fans, they do pander to children a lot, and I don't think they can really like with children being a huge, massive like target for you. Happy endings are usually what you're going to aim for when it comes to a child. Usually,
especially in the West, in the West.
But like Infinity War had the antithesis of a happy ending. Like,
that was. I don't
think you can get worse than that.
Yeah, but it wasn't over though. That's my thing. Like they built that up. That wasn't an ending. That was part of it.
Yeah,
but if you're going to end a story, again, us as adults, we're cool like with something like the Killing Joke or something like that, where it ends dark.
But what does that have to do with an ending? What I was saying, that was the beginning.
Because yours beginning, I'm saying with the ending, like children want.
I'm not saying to end it different. I think the ending was great. I just said that's one of the best endings ever, and I watched that more than I watched any other MCU piece of property. Period.
Yeah, and you said you want more of the same, so you want them to lose again, right? In the last movie, was what you preferred.
No, I'm saying them to lose. I say lose at the beginning and then build up and then come back and win at the end.
Okay, then I misunderstood what you were saying then.
Yeah. I think one thing that wouldn't quite work based off of how the last film ended either, because Thanos is effed up. His arm is effed up after using the stones. He's not in fighting weight. Also, he's by himself. His army's not with him. His squad, like his lieutenants, are all dead.
But
so it's kind of like
that's a choice that they made to have it do like that. Like that's not like actually how the Infinity Stone works.
Well, that's how Infinity the last film ended. He was by himself. Yeah.
Plus, their Infinity Stones are weird. Like the Infinity Stones in the comics are sentient, so I'm like they're weird how they work in the like they're tools
not the same,
and shit.
But I think I kind of like the idea of it being limited as far as you use these things. They come at a cost. That makes more sense.
If they didn't, that'd be.
But if getting them comes at a cost, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it should be both, using them and getting them. That's how that kind of power is like. It shouldn't be cheap.
Right.
But
Anyway, get into. I think that was your what, number 5? Ethan?
yeah. Sorry, we spent so long.
No, we're good. We spent 10 minutes on it. What's your? I already did my number 5 last week, so I'm gonna let Otis go ahead and get his number 5 out the way.
I guess currently my number 5. I don't like this. This movie has got me kind of feeling differently about so many other movies, like how they built up to this. So my list is kind of like jumbled now. Like I wish we did this before we watched this movie.
Is that jumbled off that one?
A little bit. Just I don't know.
With me,
we can't spoil it just because like
you don't have to spoil. Like with me, I just like slid it up and then slid everything else down a tier. It's like you're rearranging your entire list now.
No, not rearranging the entire list. If we're going by, like I said, if we're going by before what it was, my number 5 was I'm sorry. I don't know now. I really don't. Go to your number 4, Charlie. We'll come back to my number 5.
Okay, so my number 4 was Civil War. As much shit as I talked about it last week with y'all, I really enjoyed, like, for one, Spider-Man first and foremost. Like that was when he first like made his appearance back with I almost said Tom Holland, and seeing him in like that fight scene he had with Bucky and Falcon was priceless to me. Like seeing him like being back, cracking jokes and fighting and being weird, like that was what I feel like me and every other Marvel fan at that time wanted. So seeing that come to fruition, seeing Black Panther make an appearance, like that movie was the start for a lot of different people. So I was really excited for that. Yeah. Jabberwack33 says, what is it? What is it? Hype?
Hype.
He's hype. I'm hype. We're all hype. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
So you gave us all that shit last week for talking about it at number 6, and you put it at number 4.
I love it.
Dun dun dun. Twist.
I love that, man.
The plot twist is amazing, man.
That was an amazing twist because he pretty much only said negative things about that movie too.
Only exclusively
negative things.
I feel like all 3 was praising that shit hard as fuck at that same time.
And then
somebody got to be the contrarian. If it's not Otis, I got to do it.
Nah, yeah, I feel it.
I cannot argue that logic.
We gotta have a designated hater. We always have to have a designated hater on this show, and if it's not Otis, I got to do it.
Designated hater. I'm looking forward to doing the review of Doctor Strange too. Then,
there's stuff to hate on for that one too.
All to say is I agree with what you said. That one of the reasons I like, we said this last week. I'm not gonna say too much more, but I love how they managed, again, the Russo brothers and Marcus McFeely, the writers. Those 4 guys, when they get together, they managed to do a whole lot of heavy lifting, and managed to spin a whole lot of plates. They managed to bring it. Look what they did. They managed to tear down pretty much every superhero that they've introduced in the MCU except for Thor and the Hulk. They managed to introduce Black Panther and Spider-Man in a way that people actually really liked them. They managed to actually have a fallout between Iron Man and Captain America that for the most part made sense. They did all these things. It's like, good Jesus. So I'm right there with you. So I thought it was a fun movie. That was entertaining too. And it still was focused around Captain America. So.
If they don't do anything else, Feige and the Russo brothers, they know how to give fans what they want. Like if the fans say they want a character or an actor to be a character, they're either going to get that dude or they're going to give you something really close to what you would like, what you would want.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That was dope. Number 3, top 3 now, right? Or did you guys give y'all?
Otis didn't do his 4. Otis didn't do his 4. It's 5, yeah. I don't think.
Yeah. Do you need time to narrow it down?
No, I'm good now. I got my bearings back. It's Iron Man, the original Iron Man. The
good times.
The start of the entire archetype. You know, the kickoff to this entire universe, and that's falling in love with RDJ as Iron Man because he is Iron Man.
Absolutely.
Wait. Did you say Iron Man 1?
Yeah, Iron Man 1.
Original Iron Man. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Because the thing about it, Yeah, and I'm not mad at that either. That was on my list as well. There's so much stuff on here. But the thing was, I remember back in the day when people were, because it was like in 2008 and 2007, how many people didn't even know that Iron Man was a comic book character? And then this is also in the time when superhero movies were a joke. There was obviously Batman Begins, which came out a few years before, and then
Blade was still around. We still had Blade.
But they also Blade was like, even though he was a comic book character, most people didn't think of him as that because it was like also a rated R movie.
That was a Wesley Snipes movie. That wasn't a Marvel movie in most people's mind.
Yeah, most people's mind. It wasn't a comic book. It was like a superhero. He wasn't wearing a superhero outfit and things like that. Blade was great, but it was different. And so it was people really weren't thinking people didn't have very high expectations for this. Also, Robert Downey Jr. had a lot of problems. Like he was almost uninsurable by most studios, and so it was a lot of
Disney was the company. It was like, well, no, it wasn't Disney yet. It wasn't
Disney yet. It happened a little bit later as Disney, but yeah. So it was a lot of gambles, and also Jon Favreau. If it wasn't for Jon Favreau, the director, really urging and pushing for him to be in it, it wouldn't have happened. He knew it was a gamble. So it's a lot of things that had to line up right. And if Tom Cruise hadn't passed, because I'm sure y'all know about that, how Tom Cruise was the original choice, was about to be cast for it. And because his face would be covered up by the suit, he wanted to have like a see-through mask. And because they didn't want to do that, he walked out. He walked away from the project. If Tom Cruise hadn't done that, could you imagine having Tom Cruise
with a see-through mask? Bro, it's so wild to me how people's narcissism just gets the better of them and fucks up opportunities for him.
Yeah.
Like he passed up on something that it may not have been as big if he would have done it, honestly.
I don't know that it would have been.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have.
Yeah, RDJ fitted too perfect. Like it was like a Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds type of thing where like they just fit they are that character.
They are that character.
And think, man, what's his roadie? What was
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard
Maine
away from that, bro. Like, it was like
Iron Man.
Yeah. Well, so I still don't know if he walked away, if he was kind of fired, if he wanted more money.
He wanted more money, and they wouldn't give it to him. I think he wanted to get as much as RDJ was getting.
More money or something. Yeah.
Next time, baby.
Yeah, he says next time, baby, and they say nope.
They say we're not paying you that bag. The fuck.
Yeah. So I definitely feel Iron Man. It was a lot of fun. I saw the movie in the theater like 3 times, and that was the first time in a movie for the most part where you found the post credit scene. Because the first one I saw, I didn't see the post credit scene with Sam Jackson. It wasn't until I went and saw it a second time.
Yeah, that's when we allegedly had bootlegged for infinite amounts of time that we watched infinite amounts of time. Allegedly. Number 3s. I guess I'll go ahead. Oh, I think everybody's in the number 4s, right?
Have I done my number 4?
No, I don't think he's on his number 4.
I think he was number 4. Yeah. Okay, so it's your number 4.
Oh yeah, I kind of did my number 4 last week. We touched on it. It was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, we did touch on that.
Y'all had yours, earlier. It was just I thought it was fun. It was something different. That was the biggest thing, and they had fun music. That's basically it. Yeah.
All right.
I've honestly gone back. I think I know what my bias against Guardians is, and I'm not a big fan of Chris Pratt, bro. Like,
oh really?
I've never been a big fan of his. He's not funny.
I thought he was really funny to me.
Yeah, I like him.
He was one of the few people I liked. He was like my favorite character out of the show.
Rocky took the show in that one.
Yeah, Rocky. Yeah,
and Drax. Drax was also really good.
So I thought Drax's acting was kind of like, oh, you're trying to act.
Oh yeah, it was so bad because it was supposed to be that he just hit the right note for me. Like the personality of his character was really intriguing to me because it was like, you're smart dumb. Like, how does this work?
Smart dumb.
Like, he's smart dumb. Like, he was intelligent, but also really stupid.
Right. He's book smart, but not street smart or something. Or yeah.
Jeffrey personally wrote that for me because he's probably the biggest WWE fan I know in my life. So when he's like Batista, oh my god. Oh, fun, real quick. This level right here. When I mean this shit irritated me to no end.
In the circus,
because you would jump like the whole one. All the controls changed for this. And
this is awesome. Yeah,
when you would jump over shit. The jump was really weird in where like it wouldn't push you forward.
I forgot about this stupid part. Why did they put it in?
And it was so long.
Pitfall thing in here. We did not need that.
And it was so long. And then they didn't like tell you how to progress in it. So I'm like, you had to figure out to go get all. You had to just like figure out how to get all those gold bars. Is how you like progressed. And then like here, like then the things at some point in them, like the fucking pitfalls, like change shape or size or whatever. Bro, this irritated me to no extent.
For those wondering, this is Dev's old gameplay when he was a child. He recorded it, and we're watching it.
I thought it was low key because like each one of these levels are the same people I use. Like I use Deadpool for this mission exactly every time. Because for this level, there's a lot of walls, and there's a cheat for this game where Deadpool had
through things.
Yeah, so you can teleport through areas that were locked to get all the secret stuff without. It's like a cheat code. So I'd use Deadpool for everything.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay.
It was the same. It was the same thing for Nightcrawler and X-Men Legends because it was the same mechanic.
Yeah, the teleportation.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
What number are we on?
Yeah, this
4. You said your 4 was
Guardians.
Guardians. I think so. Otis is your number 4.
He gave his number 4. We're on the top. What did you?
No. Well, it was 4, but now it's 5 that I gave. Then my number 4 is Avengers 1.
Really? So that was a time when you told me that was your number 1 back in the day.
It was never my number 1. That's probably the one I've watched the most, like in its totality.
Mm-hmm.
But my number 1. No, number 1. The 2 above it were always 1 and 2 until recently.
I got you. Okay. So we're talking about Avengers number 1. I got you. All right. Avengers. Yeah.
Oh God, I'm getting rage fatigue just from watching this. Okay. Anyway. Yeah.
So Otis, you brought up Avengers. Go ahead and tell us why Avengers is your number 4.
I mean, one that was RDJ is at the peak of his powers in Iron Man. You finally got Thor in a movie that was like watchable.
Yeah.
Hawkeye was honestly really dope in that movie. Like, I think
he was a zombie most of the time, though.
Yeah, that's why it was dope. I like evil Hawkeye. Like, you're an archer to catch bodies, but that's yeah.
I thought Hulk was done really
Hulk was great. Hulk was great.
His relationship with Thor was great. Like their banter, was just as good to me as like Cap and Tony to me.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing I have to ask y'all about this. This is something I've had on my mind for years and years since I first saw it in 2012. There's a part where Mark Ruffalo says, "That's the thing. I'm always angry."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, that doesn't make sense. Isn't the whole idea when he gets angry, he turns into the Hulk?
I just saw that he was in full control. Like he can go in and out of that at any time because he's always angry. Like honestly,
but then he loses control when they're on the ship because I guess he gets too angry.
He was in pain that time.
I think. Yeah, it was in pain because anger isn't the only thing that triggers the Hulk. Like if his life's threatened, or if he like goes to another extreme emotion, and he can transform.
But so think about Avengers. What happens on the ship that puts him in pain or makes him distressed?
Didn't they get it? That's when the attack started, and they fell. Him and Nat fell, and he had like a pipe like crush his leg or something like that.
No. So the pipe crushes Nat. Nat's trapped underneath it, but he's like going off to the side and then into the darkness or something like that. It's a plot hole. It doesn't make sense. And I've tried to talk to people before. It's like, no, I don't know what it was. It seemed like a cool setup. Like, oh, I'm always angry. I'll punch this big thing. I can control my transformation, but it's like, yeah, but you can't.
Yeah, it was like, you literally lost control of that transformation. I mean,
right.
Part of that was due to Loki's manipulation, but yes,
which makes the most sense. That does make the most sense. Loki's manipulation. I'll give you that.
To that degree, that is technically a plot hole because if he's always angry and should be able to control it, how did you lose control?
Right, how do you lose control? Also, you should be able to live wherever you want to live. Like he's living on the run, living in the middle of like a Malaysia, wherever he is, because he's afraid he'll harm somebody. But it's like, well, dude, if you were in that control of your hulking, you shouldn't worry about any of this stuff. Also, in the second movie, when he gets angry or whatnot, or he gets manipulated by Wanda, it's like, how much where are the lines where you guys can control yourself and you can't? That's why it bothered me. He says, "I'm always angry." So, okay, all right. Anyways,
Hulk was honestly like the funniest person in that entire first movie.
He was great.
With not saying anything. Like,
he's great.
The whole scene where him and Thor crash into the subway on the back of that big flying thing and just that was beautiful. But yeah,
no, it's still a great movie, except for that one part, that one thing that's always bothered me. Yeah, I've always loved that. I love Hulk in it. That was probably the best because that was the first time we saw Hulk since Ed Norton in 2008. So it was actually good to see Mark Ruffalo portray him. It was a lot of fun to see that fight between Hulk and Thor on the ship and everywhere else.
I enjoyed the three-way three-way fight Cap, Iron Man, and Thor at the beginning. That was fun.
It's great.
I mean, there was a lot of good moments there.
Oh
but,
yeah, fantastic moments.
Yeah, not enough to get it higher than the ones above it. They push the envelope going forward with those movies, and I appreciate it.
Right. Well, because that's the thing I'll say too, and this is not to throw any shade, but like the phase one of the MCU, outside of Iron Man was great. Captain America: First Avengers, okay, it's not terrible, but it's you know it's whatever. And then Thor,
fuck that nigga.
Thor, you know, yeah, we all know how Dev feels, but Thor wasn't the most jaw-dropping one, and then the Incredible Hulk was kind of, you know, it was a weird one. So it's like the phase one of MCU before Avengers wasn't, you know, I wonder how well, yeah. So I wonder how. I mean, do y'all think that the MCU would have been what it was if Avengers hadn't stuck the landing?
If Avengers was bad, then we would be talking about that the same way we talk about Justice League for the DC.
Probably, right?
I don't think so. I don't think to the same extent. I think the reason Justice League was talked so bad about is because Avengers happened. Yeah. That's the one downside with DC, that everything they do, especially in team up wise, only compared to everything Marvel. But if Marvel flops, then there's nothing they really compare to. You just judge it for like it's bad, but I think people amp it up even worse than what it is because of MCU so good.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder, because I guess the thing is too is that obviously at this point because I think Disney actually technically bought the MCU in 2009, but they didn't start. But their influence didn't happen until after the Avengers. Mm-hmm. So I wonder.
Try to contain the whole thing, unleash them.
Oh, you can pop up what Craig said there if you want to pop it.
It's already up. Real quick part of that. Hey, another quick thing. Blade, fire. When it comes to that, I don't know how much because we've seen so little of Hulk in regards to like the development of his powers, and like even if the Hulk personality, how they're related, we haven't seen a lot of it. But I know in the comics and shit, like there's a whole nuance with like the Hulk personality, and that being like somewhat like the same way with how Jake Lockley and Stephen Grant are like personalities of Mark Spector. Like the Hulk is a personality that Bruce Banner developed during his childhood. It's like they have that. It's like a whole identity thing slightly. I don't know how they're gonna like explain it or how much comic accurate they're gonna get with that. We'll probably see a lot of that. We'll probably see a lot of it in She-Hulk going forward, but
then also that's been changed and altered so many times in the comic books. You know,
oh my god, it's been done, then undone, then redone. Yeah. Oh my god.
So it's hard to keep up with it, and that's the problem with the long-running series. They're going to change things over and over again.
There's a million different writers. That's the one downside that you have so many writers. Like, I don't like what you did, so I'm going to make it mine and change it.
Right.
And now this is the canon, and now this
is now lore. Yeah, and that's one of the biggest advantages of manga is that it's one writer with their one story. Say what you want about the filler or whatnot, but it's still like it's their one idea over time.
Right. Anyway, because now we have Titan Hulk or like the Hulk hulking out and shit like that.
Yeah, and the Mortal Hulk, which only exists in
that was fire though. I ain't gonna lie.
It's my favorite Hulk story.
Awesome Hulk, and
yeah,
that's
Wolverine Hulk and all that other crazy shit.
Yeah.
What was it? I was about to say something.
You're number 3.
Number 3. Yeah. So number 3 for me. It pains me to have this here.
Here we go.
Because I hate this person.
Oh no,
with a passion.
Oh, I know what this is.
But Captain America: Winter Soldier is in my number 3.
So before we talk about that, you want to bump it up because I know because we can talk about it now, but I know that's higher up on both Otis and that list.
No, that's exactly where it is on my list now.
Or it's number 3 for your. But you said now. Okay, I got you. Okay, so we talk about it now then. Okay.
Yeah, this movie again, above anything else, Sam Jackson. That's all I'm gonna say. I love Sam Jackson in this movie. I love Sam Jackson in general. That's again a significant part for me for this movie. I love Sam Jackson.
He's great.
But I'm a sucker for spy thrillers, especially like the conspiracy theory type shit, and like it's almost like a whodunit in a sense, where like you're learning like who to trust, who not to trust, all the other shit. Because I think they tried to do a whole thing where like they didn't know if you could trust Nick Fury or whatever else, and then Natasha, you don't know how reliable she is. So that whole thing, us as comic fans, we know that they're probably not going to be evil, but if you're just watching this as a movie, it's interesting and shit to be like, oh, is this person that's been working with him so long a good person now? Is he a bad person now? Or et cetera, et cetera. The fight scenes obviously were dope. I'm a big music person, so like the music that they did with the Winter Soldier and how like his music is just like a scream, like amplified or whatever.
Yeah,
like they did so many like the themes and the music, everything was good about this movie from top to bottom. Then they introduced Falcon, and I feel like Papa Doc did a great job as that character. And like they huh?
Yeah, I agree. He did a great job with the character.
Yeah, to me, he did a great job for that character.
Yeah, I mean, because Falcon in the comic books has never been like a reliable comic relief. Is kind of a more boring, stoic character for the most part. So I actually like what he did with him.
No, so initially, what happened with Hulk as a child, for people that don't know, and I don't know if it's the original, but the most recent origin of him, Bruce Banner's father was an abuser and like would beat his mom. And as that whole situation is going on, he developed the personality of the Hulk to help him cope with the domestic abuse.
Fair, but I love the idea that Raizo he's a Karen. I never thought about that before.
Yeah, that's Charlie.
Yeah, no, yeah,
that's Chris. I'm not gonna call it
Chris.
my name. That's
Chris
weird.
November. Yeah,
it's weird calling somebody else your name. I can't do that. It's so weird.
It's his nickname, but it's funny. I like that. But yeah, everything you said, Dev. And one thing I'm gonna add to that because I could talk about Winter Soldier because Otis and I have had many conversations about Winter Soldier. How much I love that movie. But so here's one thing I'll say about it real quick. That movie is actually what made me fall in love with the MCU.
Yep. Same.
Because I was like, the first phase one was kind of fun to watch. It was cool. I really liked Avengers. Like this is a lot of fun, but I wasn't sure, how it was going to play out in the single movies. And then when I saw that trailer for Winter Soldier, I was like, holy shit, this looks good. And the actual movie was even better than I expected it to be. That chase with your boy Sam Jackson, he's in the car. That's how the Russo brothers got their job. Was they actually kind of did like a test little video of that kind of thing. They had an idea for it as far as him escaping. They said the idea that it should be really, really hard to kill off the ultimate spy, and that's what got them the job. And I was like, they're absolutely right. The way they played having Cap uses for the first time, Cap using his shield, he looked like an actual badass. And I fell in love with Cap because of that movie too. So it's like, yeah, I give a lot. Everything I owe to the MCU is because of that movie, pretty much. That's me. I fell in love with them. So
that was the first, Avengers is a fun movie, but that was the first actually good movie that the MCU put out to me. And I was like, oh, if you're putting out this level of quality for superhero movies, I need more of this. Now.
Yes. One scene I'm gonna get on in particular again, Sam Jackson again. I feel like this for me seeing Nick Fury and shit like the Ultimate Alliance and other games, they encapsulated that to the most in this scene in which the Winter Soldier's hunting him for the first time. It's like you see all these contingency plans and backup plans that he has, he's ready for every situation, and he's like the ultimate spy.
Yeah,
so when he just dips out of the truck, or when he has the revolving swivel gun, or the car's bullet. I was like, damn, this dude's ready for any. He's like Batman. He's Black Batman. Damn near.
He's pretty much Batman.
Yeah, he's ready for. He's ready for
super
everything.
Spy. And also, still to this day, it's like the only time you actually see Nick Fury in action. Really, you see him pull a bazooka out in Avengers, and other than that, this is the only time you really see him.
If you want to get technical, he's in action in Captain Marvel.
I don't want to get technical because I don't want to talk about that movie. Let's move on.
I thought it was all right.
That's not in either of you guys' top 5, is what you're saying.
That's not my top 20.
It's my number 1. What are you talking about?
Okay.
This show is over. I mean, now, not this episode. I mean, this show is over. Our relationship's done.
Oh, God. All right. I think you said Otis said he had his number 3 as well. Ethan, what's your number 3?
So my number 3 is, let me see here. So my number 3 was Civil War, which you already talked about before. I saw that movie I think 4 times in theater. I won't belabor it too much more. We're gonna talk about it at great length, but I just enjoyed seeing.
We can talk about it
but
now.
I just enjoyed seeing all these heroes come together in such a way. And one thing I really liked that was really we don't talk about as much, I guess, was Black Panther's intro. And very think of this, the economy of storytelling. They managed to make you feel for Chadwick Boseman and his dad's relationship with literally a minute. Right. It was just him talking to him, and his father put his hand in his face and said, "Like my son said, I love you." The little expression on his face. So to the point where later on, when Chadwick T'Challa is still hunting down the Winter Soldier, you feel it. You feel for him. Think about how many other movies have where they have an hour or plus with the character, and when they die, you still don't feel anything about it. This guy dies in only a minute of screen time. You feel for him, so it's like that's saying a lot. That's a very well done job. But yeah.
I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for Paul Rudd, that would probably be higher on my list too. But he is in that, so you're not Paul Rudd.
There's an issue with Paul Rudd now.
No, not he. He didn't do anything. I'm just not a fan of his.
I I like him as Ant-Man. I thought, honestly, still, I would prefer Hank Pym Ant-Man for like, especially with the Age of Ultron stuff. But I guess it's cool that they made Hank Pym like a '60s hero.
Yeah.
I guess I've heard a theory about them talking about they wanted to make the Fantastic Four like a '60s hero like group as well that worked with Hank Pym.
They do time to set it in the past. You mean?
Yeah, I've heard that be a thing where they wanted to set it in the past and have him.
That could be interesting.
And like introduce them through Hank Pym in the next Ant-Man movie.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
which, I mean, I won't be mad at it per se, but I mean,
I can see that working
modern day.
That could be fun. It could be a fun little time period movie. I think I know what you mean. Paul Rudd can be, because Paul Rudd tends to be Paul Rudd in things. But I think why they went without having Hank Pym's, because they were getting to the area where they're having so many heroes that were kind of snarky and being kind of holier than, or thought they were more self-righteous and better than anybody else. But Scott Lang is very different. He's not that kind of hero at all. So kind of they have a different change of pace. But,
what else? They for sure needed some variation in the personality. So I don't think he was a bad choice.
Yeah.
He's just like, it's hard for me to watch him on screen sometimes.
What else has he been in? Because to my knowledge, this is the only thing I've ever seen him in.
He's been in a bunch of just slapsticky comedy movies, like
and rom-coms. All the Judd Apatow movies.
Yeah.
This is 40 Knocked Up. I Love You, Man. All those things.
This is my first introduction to him, so I thought he was all right. Like I didn't really have any previous knowledge with him. I thought, even with Scott Lang, I didn't really have a big history with Scott Lang. So it's like it's a character I'm not familiar with, an actor I'm not familiar with. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just take it for what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. I didn't have as much familiarity with Scott Lang either. I knew much more about Hank Pym than I knew about Scott Lang.
Right.
But,
Okay. Getting into the top two now. We already know that
the tension.
We know not Civil War, but the Winter Soldier is higher on Ethan's. So is that your 2 or your 1? You said it was higher on your list.
Yeah, I'll wait. So it's I guess it doesn't matter now because it's not my number 2. So it's your number 2 first. What's your number 2, Dev?
Infinity War. It's my number 2.
That's my number 2 as well.
Yes. So obviously, like the way it ended was immaculate. I thought they showcased power in regards to Thanos really well. I love seeing Thor get his power up and see Stormbreaker happen. I love seeing the development of Scarlet Witch and Vision's relationship and that tragedy. Like they literally anything you want in an MCU movie, whether it's a comedy, the snarkiness, the development, the dark, like they had every aspect in that movie to me.
Agreed.
And the villain, the biggest thing that I harp on with every MCU movie villain is that Thanos stayed intimidating the entire way through. He didn't become whiny. He didn't become snarky. Like he was a man on a mission and was focused on getting his mission done. And when he was done, and then he sat down and rested and said, "Fuck y'all, I'll beat y'all."
Yes, he was almost an anti-hero in lots of ways because he is very much the star. There's no doubt about that. He's the star of the movie, and he's almost an anti-hero to the sense of kind of like Magneto in X-Men First Class or whatnot. It's like someone like I have a mission. You may not agree with it, but you can understand where it's coming from, or Killmonger or whatnot. And you have to appreciate him for that. You also have to appreciate the fact how they portray that character. It was so well done. So yeah, I'm right there.
Right. First off, like his first introduction, but this is before they made the Hulk a huge bitch. Later on in other movies, cough cough Ragnarok, he was throwing hands with the Hulk. Like they're like, "All right, you do all that. We got Hulk ready for your ass over here." He's like, "Oh, word? Say less."
It's like, no, I'm pretty sure Hulk turned into a bitch in that movie.
That literally
before we knew he was a definite bitch. Up until that point, he'd been a badass that was wrecking shit and throwing Loki all over the place. That was the first time we seen him get bitched, like to the point to where he didn't want to come out anymore. I'm like, damn, he beat your ass that bad. And he was, and it wasn't even with the Infinity Gauntlet. It was just one-on-one hands.
Yeah. One-on-one hands.
But
I love how they did that. I mean, you know this from wrestling, Dev, how they call it putting him over. By having him do that against the Hulk, we knew it set him up as far as, we know how much of a powerhouse this dude, because pretty much the strongest, actual pound for pound, strongest Avenger has always been the Hulk. And this dude threw hands with him at the very beginning. Is like, if no one else, he took down the Hulk and Thor with effortlessly.
With no power.
What powerhouses do we have left? What big guns do we have left?
I mean, he had the Space Stone.
No, he took it off.
But he didn't.
He took it off to fight Hulk.
He didn't use it.
He had that for Thor. He had that for Thor. The Power Stone and the Space Stone.
Because for Thor, I think with the other Ebony Maw used his telepathy to shut Thor up and to kind of contain Thor.
Yeah, he'd already been captured at that point, though.
Yeah, Thor was out of commission. Yeah, so I'm not sure how he got Thor down, but it's a perfect intro. We've seen all kinds of great villains, great intros like Darth Vader in episode 4, whatnot, but to have an intro where I'll walk onto the scene and beat the shit out of the Hulk effortlessly. That's
Right.
It's just weird to me, like to think that movie starts at the end of Ragnarok, which was a happier tone than this, and like, why did you put that? We're not gonna get into this debate again. Well,
all right. I was waiting for them to get into, especially with the Eternals, like them. I don't know if they're gonna make because obviously y'all know that in the comics he's like Thanos is a tiny deviant. So I'm like, I don't know if they were going to use that to explain, because they never really explained his origin outside of like the planet he came from, being Titan. But I know in the comics, like the reason he's that strong is that he's a deviant.
Yeah,
I thought it was because he was a mutant, not a deviant.
He's a deviant. Yeah, his son's a mutant.
It's because his brother fucked him up too. His brother kind of made him obsessed with So there's a couple different reasons why he is the way he is.
But I'm interested. Yeah, it's going forward. It'd be a thought to kind of hopefully get to at some point.
The one thing I want to say real quick, I think I mentioned it last time. I'll say one last time. My favorite part of the movie actually is where Thor is talking to Rocket, and you just see Thor actually completely broken, where he's like, "I've lost, I basically lost everything. What else can you take from me? What else can you take from me?"
I'm going to watch that today, honestly. Damn.
Yeah. So great time, and there's was a lot of fun seeing all the heroes do all their thing, flexing all the ways they flexed. And people in the theaters, I knew they were doing a part 2 already, because I saw when they had the big announcement as far as Avengers Infinity War part 2 or whatever. So I knew it wasn't going to end with this movie, but so many people didn't know that. And in my theaters, I saw multiple times, people were crying their eyes out. Like, what? They're all surprised and crying their eyes out when Spider-Man fell over.
Were really, I mean, that was a great moment. Like, that freestyle moment Tom Holland had with RDJ at the end, Mr. Stark,
I don't feel so. This nigga Jeffrey cried next to me. He'll deny it.
Call him out.
He will deny it to the day he's in the grave. But I swear to God, that man said, "Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good." And all I hear to the left of me is, "Nigga, you crying right now? Like, they're coming back, right?" It's like, Brian crying.
I was just thinking, it was like, how you hurt by this moment at all? Because what's coming. Like,
everyone's coming back.
Like, they announced Avengers Endgame before Infinity War came out.
Yes, and they announced also Black Panther 2. When you watch T'Challa die, so we know.
Niggas, it was so funny, because the funny thing about, I think a lot of the people,
they announced the next Spider-Man movie.
A lot of the people in my theater that reacted to that were people that did not know that information. Like, everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's gone!" And then we had 4 or 5 people.
It should have been that way. I agree. It should have been that way.
All right. Which, honestly, I think I feel like at that point in the MCU, they weren't making those movies for us. They're making that for the casual fans.
Fair, and that's where their money comes from. The diehard fans, even y'all, because y'all see me. Y'all have read more Marvel comic books than I have, not other ones. But the casuals are where the money comes from. The hardcore comic book fans, there's so few. It's more marginal. It's the actual casual the money comes from in theaters.
I will say, going to get into a slight tangent on Infinity War and Endgame, is the fact that Adam Warlock never showed up, but they clearly set him up.
They definitely set him up. They set him up forever ago.
Yeah, he was in Guardians too. Before they went to that shitty movie.
I think he's coming in Miss Marvel, honestly, with because it looks like, I've seen a video on it that focused on it, but it looks like her abilities are coming from the quantum bands and not her being an Inhuman.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
He'll probably pop. He may pop. Depending. I don't know.
We'll what did Mr. November say? I missed seeing it. I know it popped up there real quick.
He said he knew the characters were coming back, but he still shed a tear.
That's fine, and that's actually, though, that's impressive. If the storytelling is strong enough that even though it still hits you in the feels, even with knowledge, that's saying a lot, So more power to him.
All right.
Power to him.
Yeah. Up to the top. Well, that was your 2, right?
That's my number 2 as well.
That's my 1.
And that's his 1. Now, and this is our original list, not factoring in Doctor Strange.
No, I'm factoring Doctor Strange.
Let me get to my 1. Let me get to my 1, because I'm pretty sure my 1 is Otis's 2 as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
My 1, surprise, is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
Anything we're gonna say about this movie is gonna be spoiler free, so people don't freak out.
Yeah, we're not gonna spoil real simple.
The only thing I will say is, for everybody that has watched any of our content for a significant amount of time, you know that I myself love the horror genre. I love horror movies. I love great horror movies. I love mediocre horror movies. I think the genre is great, and it has great people that are a part of it. So having a movie that was horror themed and gave dark tones and showcased people to the power level that they should be at, I thought was amazing.
All of that to say Charlie is biased because this is a horror movie.
Yeah, that's why I preface with all that. I'm biased. Because again, it's the first Marvel horror movie, so I'm just like, hey, I don't know if we want to get another one of these for a minute.
I'm trying to think what other character we could do, unless we did Immortal Hulk or something like that.
I'd probably do a Midnight Suns, possibly. That'd be a TV show. Because honestly, I want Raimi to come and direct Midnight Suns, honestly.
That'd be the closest to a horror we could get, I guess.
But that's why I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna ever get anything like this again.
We shouldn't.
So this isn't a spoiler. We can say that there's possibility for a Wanda solo movie. So they were saying that.
Yeah, which again, I won't get into all.
No, we won't get into the details, but that could be a horror.
Yeah, movie. I think they did a lot of things different, and you already know I'm always a fan of when they break the formula. Whenever they break the formula and experiment and try new things,
yes,
I'm a fan of that because I think that's what got them to this point anyway.
I agree.
Even what we talked about earlier with the Winter Soldier, like they broke the formula and tried something new.
And
Granted, it worked or it doesn't work, but I think just innovating and trying new things is how you get to great stuff.
Was Winter Soldier new?
I feel like that was just like the spy.
It was new to them. It was new to them.
Yeah, for them. Marvel.
That point, it's the whole formula of like, all right, the evil version, the villain is just a bad version of the character. It's either a kaiju battle or we're fighting like the evil version of that person. Rather than be like it was the same shit over and over again.
Yeah,
but that
this is very. The idea too.
Isn't the Winter Soldier evil Cap essentially?
Like, no, because the real villain. The real villain at the end was just Pierce. It was actually the idea of government. The idea that he was. What he was serving, because to the point where he took down what he was serving. He was serving, what's it called? The Shield, more or less, and Shield was the bad guy.
So Hydra.
Well, Shield and Hydra, combined, because Hydra had infiltrated Shield.
And even at that point, they combined that and rolled that over into the Agents of Shield TV show as well. I don't know if there's anything. That arc was good. I ain't gonna. I'll argue about that. That was like the last good arc of that show to me was the Hydra arc.
Good is a strong word. There were things that happened there, and it wasn't. I guess like it was.
We'll get into it. It's good. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you also consider like the Flash to be good too. So like,
goof.
You said it was started off good.
The first two seasons were out of 9. You really
I've only watched like 2 to 3 seasons of the show.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, it's at 9 seasons. That's the thing. You have to understand where shows have like The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons to pieces. Only think about that. To think that only a third of The Simpsons is actually good. There's 30 seasons of that show.
You think
it's 30. There's 31. It's 32 now. I think.
The movie was really good. I love The Simpsons movie.
The movie was good. Movie should have been the send off, but I'm getting way off topic.
Yeah, I'm trying to give detail. Without giving details of this movie, it was great. It was Sam Raimi style.
It's very Sam Raimi. It's one of the things that's almost like you can tell. Oh, there's Sam Raimi, and there's Sam Raimi. There's Sam Raimi's jizz on that screen.
Like, you can just call it Doctor Strange and the Evil Dead, bro. Just like
pretty much, yeah. That's not that spoiler.
And I fuck with it. I love the Evil Dead movie, at least the first Evil Dead movie.
Evil Dead 2 is the best one. Evil Dead 2 is the best one.
I love the first and second one. We just don't like campy movies in general.
He does not like camp.
I love a lot of Sam Raimi's work. I love that. I love Drag Me to Hell.
That was a fun one too. Drag Me to Hell was a fun one.
Like he makes fun horror movies to me. I love him and his directorial style.
Yeah, because it's the scene in Spider-Man 2 when Dr. Octopus is coming when Doc Ock's arms are kind of like coming to life in the hospital.
Right,
it's still one of my favorite parts.
It was beautiful. It's like it was dark and funny at the same time somehow.
Yeah, that scene wasn't as much funny.
No, that one wasn't. Yeah,
that was not. There was no laughs there. But
if you're not a fan of Sam Raimi, you're not gonna like this movie. I'll put it like that.
No, you still can like it. I
don't know, bro, because there's so much of his imprint on the movie.
I am for sure not a Sam Raimi fan, and this is my second best MCU movie. So I mean,
fair enough.
Yeah, so you can still like it. My roommates, one of my roommates, it's a group of us that went to see it, and he hadn't seen any Evil Deads or Sam Raimi stuff. He still enjoyed the movie. So.
Right, because this is quintessential Sam Raimi, like from
it's.
I will say he does amazing shots, like his.
But he also Sam Raimi does huge plot hole into that movie. But we'll talk about that when.
We'll get into it. I know what you're thinking. We'll definitely get balls deep into all this stuff later on in another review.
But as far as the cinematography is beautiful. The shots were dope. It looked aesthetically great. The music for this movie was amazing.
It was Danny Elfman too.
Yeah,
obviously his old partner from back in the day in Spider-Man.
Dude is ridiculous. Like the way they created horror theme music and then used that same music as actual plot points or plot devices. It was beautiful. I loved it with the passion.
Well,
you
they
already
gave
know how
also
big of a fan I am of music.
they give characters themes. So there was, not to get into spoilers, but there were certain characters that showed up in this movie that had their themes played. Which was really fun.
Yeah, music was a big part of it. And again, I love music. I love this movie. It's my number one until further notice. At least
it's not number one. But
it
was good. It was good.
Good. No, it's very fun. I enjoy it too.
Chris, I know you're not saying you didn't know that Sam Raimi was the director. That was the whole like selling point when they first made this. Like,
deliberately, if you deliberately avoided trailers and stuff, that makes sense.
He trolling. I think he gotta be trolling.
He might be trolling.
Who thinks of Sam Raimi to direct a Marvel movie?
Well, that was the whole selling point when they announced it a while back. It was because initially it was a rated R Sam Raimi movie.
The above casual fan knows that. The casual fan, they probably don't even know Joss Whedon had anything to do with MCU ever. Right?
How long has Chris been in the groups? Like, because this was I remember I shared the post around a couple times in the group.
Yeah, I know Chris is a busy dude. That guy,
no, he doesn't sleep. We know Chris doesn't sleep.
Yeah, he's a very busy dude. But one thing I did, because originally wasn't Otis. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's no shame, Chris. That's fine. That's fine, brother.
Fair enough.
But one thing, wasn't the original director the guy that did the Insidious movies? I forgot his name. It was another horror director, I believe. Right, Otis? Or do you know
you talking about, because he didn't? Oh my God, Insidious. He did Saw. Asian dude. What's his name?
Not Justin Wan. Not James Wan. It was
Is he
I'll look it up. Well,
what is he directing? Insidious.
I'll go ahead and look it up though.
But yeah, I remember vividly, like when it came out, like it was a Sam Raimi rated R horror movie, and that's why it got me really excited initially.
But they were gonna do a rated R originally.
Yeah, initially it was rated R, but I talked to Otis about it. There's some stuff they changed around, or some things were implied to kind of probably drop it to PG-13.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put out like an unrated version of this movie at some point later on.
I'd watch it again for that.
It might have that kind of feature. Because here's the thing, we can't say too much more, but there are definitely some moments in this movie. It's like, oh, okay, I see where they clearly like, oof, that could have, woof. They're very some rated R movies. They even have. I can't.
Let's save it. Let's save it.
I'm sorry.
Moving on. Again, that's my number one. We know that's Otis's number two. What is your number one, Ethan?
So my number one is Captain America: Winter Soldier. Yeah, Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and one of the very first conversations I had with Otis, he asked me what my favorite MCU movie was, and it's been the same since I saw it. So it's Winter Soldier. And you mentioned the sound, the music cues. And I also found out that because I watched all the behind the scenes stuff a lot, and they said that they wanted the Winter Soldier to be almost like a Terminator in a way. So in the same way in Terminator 2, the liquid metal as he walks around is like they have a kind of it's just one note that plays, the kind of almost like Jaws moving in the water.
Right.
That they wanted to be the same thing for the Winter Soldier. When you see him coming, it's just a sense of dread that you have. Right. So I just love how they did all that stuff. They worked really well. And I've watched that highway, that fight on the highway and down to the street.
Oh my God, the knife fight was well done in that movie. That is still one of the best choreographed movies in the entire MCU to this day.
Like the top three scenes to watch in the MCU are, like Oda said, the last part of the end game. It's the hands that Shang-Chi throws on the bus, and of course the highway fight scene in Winter Soldier.
I ain't gonna lie, a scene from the Doctor Strange may be in the top three for me now. One of those fight scenes.
It's
in there for me. That shit was beautiful. That shit was creative. It was well done.
It's a very, very different thing, but we can't. Let's.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything about it. I'm just saying that how creative that was dope to me. Again,
it's very creative. I know what you're talking about. It's very creative.
I'm a music person too, so again, anything music related, I'm fuck with heavy. Yeah, that's pretty much that's our top 10, right? Have we finished the list out?
Yes. We're in time as well.
Perfectly on time. Yeah, man, this is dope. We had fun. We're gonna get the full review of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness out really soon. We're also gonna be discussing the Batman Unburied podcast that came out recently. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of it. I thought it was dope. I thought it was creative. We're gonna get that done.
Weekend. Woo! We got a lot of things to discuss. Yeah. Like God,
I apologize to our fans. We know that content hasn't come as frequent as it normally does. Again, my school semester was finishing up, so I was really busy. These gentlemen are always busy as well, but with the summer coming, we have a lot more content coming to you, a lot higher quality content coming to you. So just tune in, stay tuned in, and be ready for all this dope content we're gonna be dropping this summer.
Yes, and real quick, the director was going to be Scott Derrickson, and Scott Derrickson has directed Sinister.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would have been fire. Oh my god.
The first Sinister.
Honestly, I would have.
The good one. Yeah.
Honestly, I may have preferred that.
I think I would have greatly preferred that actually.
So
like, that might be my number one if it would have been him. But
I don't know.
It would have been a different film. It probably would have been rated R. Also, he doesn't really shy away from doing hard R stuff.
Before we leave, want to obviously plug the page again. If you guys want to enter the giveaway, you can enter the giveaway that we have going on right now. I think it's like 6 hours left on it, so get in while you can. And that giveaway is for a free $25 Visa gift card. $25, whole free dollars. You don't have to do nothing but support us by subscribing to the In Our Podcast and our other sources. If you want to, again, and when you click on the link, you will be brought to. This is what our page looks like. Right now we're at 263. Let's help us get to that goal of 1,000. We would greatly appreciate that support. Also, be on the lookout for some amazing content that my two co-hosts and creatives have just finished up recently in Briarlands. This is coming really soon. I have read it myself. It is an amazing story. The first issue really captivated me. I can't wait for other people to see it and kind of get their thoughts on it. And
and that's Otis's baby. That's Otis's baby. He was there in the delivery room, holding it, swaddling it in its little clothes. He gave it his pacifier. Yeah.
We will be officially launching it on the 29th of this month. We're going to an event with Hip Hop Anime Gaming. They're having a Blurred Bash in Skokie, Illinois, right on the outskirts of Chicago. So that's where we have our first set of printed copies, and we're gonna be doing a lot with Briarlands from there, man. So stay tuned for it. Stay tuned.
Right. Yeah. I can't wait for it, man. I can't wait to see that. Obviously, continue to go support everything Blurred Approved Entertainment. Obviously, though, What It Sound Like podcast, the Blurred Cartel. Our boy Craig has some stuff going on soon. I should have asked Craig what it was. He has a debate type thing that he's working on now. Dope content, dope Black creators. Support, please, if you enjoy this content and you enjoy supporting Black creators and that create good content. Emphasis on good content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, be on the lookout. That's everything I have to say. You guys have any other closing remarks?
Yeah, I got one, but I'll save it for when the credits roll.
Of course you will.
Hey, I have one I'll say right before Otis says his.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another episode of the Then and Out podcast. We will see you guys next time.
Black Panther 2, you better be in your top 5 this year. Like, you better be in the Marvel top 5.
Houdini.